I don't subscribe to your narrative that Trump's existential threat to Canada is not tariffs. Tariffs are actually good because it makes people consume less. Now, you might want to make the world go round with your universal force of economics, but that's not the way the universe or life on this planet works. The existential threat from Trump is how he's kind of taking scientific progress back to 60 years ago, and how the whole world has gotten dependent on it, and yet we're not having the conversations that countries need to now take charge and replace. There is also the existential threat of being so close to a neighbor that is devolving very possibly faster than the culture in Germany devolved, allowing for the Nazi Party to take over. And stop mentioning Nazis as if, every cycle of history that repeats, you got to use the same word, right? I mean, there are other words, and there are even fundamental concepts described by my theory that says, for example, we're not very good at the concept of human rights as a species. As a species, and more science is going to come up to say this is true. More scientific research and evidence and theories that are hard to disprove, that we lived as a species alongside other species similar to us tens, hundreds of thousands of years ago. And there was some mixing and matching sometimes, about who lived with who. But our species is the one that had the tribe versus tribe mentality the most, and it went through stages over these thousands of years where we probably got other species to fight more than they would have if we weren't mixed up with them. And eventually we interbred or killed them or raped them, and they're in our DNA a little bit, or some didn't get that much to stay in our DNA, or some we haven't discovered yet, or we haven't known how to test for that. And then there was only us. But us didn't give up the tribe versus tribe mentality. I mean, we believe in the concept that is ignorant of races. And then, when you kind of, let's say what you define as a race exists no more, then you kind of break it down to another subdivision of tribe versus tribe mentality. It's either this side of the tracks or that side, or voting for that political party or that political party, which doesn't make a difference because neither of them are really public servants. So it's a concept that's within us that we would have needed to grow up from, to become really smarter than a lot of other species who already demonstrate themselves being smarter than us, but we're not very good with science to allow that proof to come to the forefront. I mean, some places they do show how smart crows are, dolphins, orangutans, and even that there's an emergent intelligence in particular insect collectives. There's also a lot of other ways that species communicate that we don't know about yet, because we're so limited in evaluating intelligence based on how we act, even though we don't act intelligently. So the existential threat that Trump is doing is that he is going to create more of a climate emergency. He is going to create more of a refugee crisis, and I'm talking about all over the world. And he's going to make the concept of human rights even more normalized, with majorities increasingly higher that don't care. And as I've said a long time ago, even countries that are the same language and in a lot of ways similar in culture, or even within provinces or states, there's going to be divides more and more. And what really unites us is simple to understand and basic, and yet we don't talk about that. We talk only about what we perceive most of the time. It's not true. We just perceive our divides. Okay, and he's going to help promote this, and I see conversations even in Canadian politicians that facilitate this.